For the semester, Smith, Joiner, Morsell, Duana, and Gant. The front court, Duana and Gant held their own against Duke on Wednesday. Starting lineups presented by your local Toyota dealers. MJ Collins makes his first career start tonight. Mike Young going a little bit smaller as opposed to starting the big man Kid against Clemson on Wednesday. Here we go. Basili and Duana jump center. Wolfpack ball. Let's play.
Interesting environment. You can tell, you can feel the excitement here.
Hokies need a win. Terquavion Smith standing in the way.
And he's not going to hesitate. We talked about in the opener. That's one of the things you see NC State come out with that full court pressure. Smith is one of those guys, again, it's got a nice rhythm going. That's
Terquavion's 50th three of the season. He leads all ACC men's basketball players in that department. Here's Basili. Driving, had it stripped and stolen. Smith looking up high for Joiner. Hanging in the air and throws it in.
And NC State picking up how they started out against Duke is that's one of the things they're going to do. They're going to try to create havoc and get you out of your comfort zone and get out in transition.
NC State led 18-2 over Duke. Both teams started slowly offensively before the Wolfpack warmed up. And they just played with such defensive intensity all game long against Duke. Kevin Keats said he thought it was arguably their best defensive performance since he's been the coach of the Wolfpack. 5 to shoot. Collins on the drive. Gets it to go off the glass.
Good patience by Collins. Realized he had Joiner. Got him to the lane. Pump faked him. Was able to gather himself. And Mike Young today said that one of the things in that 3-game losing streak, they have to get back to the basics of passing the ball and not rushing their shots.
Taking care of the ball has been an issue for the Hokies that are traditionally one of the top teams in the country in that area. Reaching foul going on Virginia Tech. It's on Basili. His first. And quick substitution. Here comes Lynn Kidd.
Checking in Hokies 15, Lynn Kidd.
We were here inside Castle Coliseum for shoot-around mid-afternoon. Around 3 p.m. You could smell the popcorn popping even then. Smith gives it to Morsell. Got it!
We talk a lot about Joiner and Smith, but Morsell is another one of those guys, top 5 in the ACC with 3-pointers made. This Wolfpack team is going to spread you out. They're going to penetrate and drive, leave them open, and they're going to knock down that 3.
Deflected by Smith, off Maddox, so says Jamel Spearman. And the Wolfpack off to a hot start, 3 for 3, creating a turnover there.
And this is how they thrive, Ev, is being able to turn you over and get out in fast break.
Let's talk about our keys to the game presented by your local Ford dealers.
Well, we talked about for NC State. You need another Smith and Joiner encore. They lit Duke up in that win the other night. And for Virginia Tech, you got to pound the ball inside and take advantage, especially when you got matchups. You see DJ Burns come in.
No basket, travel called before the hoop. He shuffled his feet. It was a good call from Bert Smith from his vantage point on the baseline. And here's the full court pressure of NC State. Justin Mutz at the elbow. Finds Pedulla. To the corner. Collins. Joiner rising up for the rebound. Smith feeling it. Oh my goodness.
And you can tell that he's got a rhythm. And today you see that last time NC State, when they get a chance, they're getting in fast break. And that last time Justin Mutz was out on Smith. They've got to do a better job of getting back in transition defense because if he gets going, God help you see a turnover and another bucket by NC State.
That's 5 points for Morsell. Smith has a quick 6. And it's been a disastrous start for the Hokies here at home.
And that's one of the things that's plagued Virginia Tech in these last 3 losses is those turns. Typically, they're one of the better teams in the league in taking care of the ball, but North Carolina State does a lot of trying to turn you over and make you uncomfortable.
Pedulla, top of the key, 3 won't go. Smith to Morsell. Smith has 2 assists along with his 2 threes in the opening 4 minutes. Burns coming off one of his best games of the season. Overpowered kid, but missed the shot. Numbers for the Hokies. Collins to Kid.
And that's one of the things you want to do for Virginia Tech. You want to get out, and Burns is one of those guys. Whoever you got the big, you run rim to rim. Great pass from Collins. You saw Kid finish at the rim.
4 minutes gone. Remember a few years ago, Brian, the Wolfpack came here, scored the first 10 points of the game. Virginia Tech did come back to win.
But right now, the pace favors NC State because of what they're doing. Is they're moving Virginia Tech, and then they're getting a chance to be able to put them on their heels.
Burns can't believe he missed it. MJ Collins only played 9 minutes the other night, but he's been mighty involved early. And Lynn Kidd, as a reserve, has 2 quick buckets.
And even though Kidd came short-armed it, you love the energy for Kidd being able to realize is that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and run right at the rim. Virginia Tech is being able to close out a little bit, but the pace right now favors North Carolina State.
Smith over Maddox. Heat check moment. Collins got taken out by his teammate, but it's still Hokie ball. Corner 3, Maddox short.
If you're Virginia Tech, you've got to have a little bit more discipline, because if you take quick shots, that plays right into NC State's hands because they want to get out in transition.
Jarkel Joiner.
Wow, again, you see Joiner realize if he's got a big on him between he and Smith, they're going to dance because those guys are ultra aggressive. They've got the green light. You can tell right now, those two are electric getting started.
Maddox lost it on the way up. It'll stay with Virginia Tech, but NC State is 4 of 5 from 3 in the opening 5 minutes here tonight.
And the pace is favoring NC State. They've come out, and you see Smith say, "You're not going to guard me. I'll knock it down." And then Joiner said, "You know what? Don't let me come out of here. I want to get in it too. You see you back off on me? It's mine." 16-6, Wolfpack.
If you think your accident happened fast, wait until you see how quickly the insurance company tries to avoid paying you. Get the strong arm. Call attorney John Foy and Associates.
We know what your case is worth, and we won't.
By 10 early on here at Castle Coliseum. Time to discover the best, presented by the Fresh Market. Terquavion Smith among the league leaders in many, many categories.
And what that looks to me is a guy that's flat out a baller, because when you see what he's done, he's come out and again has picked up where he left off in that Duke game. Right now, Virginia Tech has got to regroup because Virginia Tech, is basically having a hard time stopping NC State.
Wolfpack have gotten what they've wanted so far, really at both ends. 4 out of 5 to shoot. Kid carries it. He's got a quick 6.
And he's come off the bench and has given them a shot in the arm. It's kind of settled Virginia Tech down. Because, again, NC State basically is getting what they want. And at the beginning of this half, they have put Virginia Tech on their heels.
Burns traveled again. One thing the Hokies have done well so far is contain the big guy.
Well, and again, since he is taken in from Mahorchich, has been a force down low. You see that they decide to come on that weak side with a double. Interesting to see.
John Pedulla has not taken more than 1 shot so far. Justin Mutz hasn't had a single attempt. Maddox looking for his offense. Rebound for DJ. LJ Thomas in the game for NC State. Wolfpack with a win tonight would get back to the 500 mark in the league. Oh, great defense there. Mutz got a piece of the shot.
And Mutz is one of those guys that you can switch out on Smith with his length and stay in front of him. He's got enough length to challenge that shot.
Morsell lost his balance. Pedulla finds daylight, and Kidd throws it down.
Great patience by Sean Pedulla. We talked with him earlier, and he said that he was going to focus on getting his teammates a little bit more involved and then go for his offense. You saw the breakdown and then be able to give Lynn another finish at the rim.
Lynn Kidd has only scored more than 8 points 1 time all season. He's got 8 points off the bench with a ton of time to go tonight. Check out Pedulla's creation here.
And you see, they may call that an ankle breaker. You see Pedulla, a nice pass over the Kidd. And again, love the fact that Virginia Tech is being able to get back into this game.
Hunter Couture out again, his 3rd straight game absent with that bruised elbow suffered up at BC. miss him.
And not so much for just his three-point shooting, but he's one of the better defenders in that perimeter and his leadership.
Provides some ball handling, too. Ernest Ross. Oh, rebound stolen by Thomas. Up, back, and in.
And nice putback by Thomas. Again, we talked about this pace for NC State and talking to Kevin Keats. This is what he wants you to do. He wants to make you uncomfortable. He wants to be able to filter guys in and out. He wants to push you outside and not allow you to get to your second and third option. For Virginia Tech, you got to be patient.
Pedulla versus Joiner. Pedulla. Foul call. Well, Kevin Keats did not grow up too far from here. The Heritage High School in Lynchburg. Played point guard at Ferrum College in Virginia. And he remembers his time at Hargrave Military Academy, coming to a lot of Virginia Tech football games. He was telling me earlier about his memories watching Michael Vick next door at Lane Stadium.
And he's done an amazing job with this group of transfers he's been able to implement with the younger guys. Talked with him earlier. One of the things they wanted to do is they wanted to get older, but they wanted to get some beef down low. And how well has Jarkel Joiner fit in with Terquavion Smith? It's been amazing so far.
Those were the first free throws of the night for either side. Joiner picked up the foul. It was his first. Terquavion Smith on the bench, so it's Joiner's offense to run, along with Casey Morsell. Thomas stepped out of bounds. Hokies have weathered the initial storm after trailing by 11, back within 6. Get them back into the game, particularly Lynn Kidd, who started here on Wednesday, off the bench tonight, immediate impact.
And it was his energy from the beginning, being able to get some runs at the rim, knocking down that jump shot, and just being the guy that's the right place at the right time. When Virginia Tech was struggling, he came off the bench and gave him a good solid 8 points. Already perfect from the field, 4 for 4 and 3 boards.
Junior from Gainesville, Florida, transfer from Clemson. And how about the Clemson Tigers, Brian Oliver? They sit by themselves in first place in the ACC right now, a week into January.
And before this game, you and I watching it. It's a game that went to the wire. Yeah. And then how about Hunter Tyson? I mean, talk about a guy that's been balling. He's been playing like a first-team All-ACCer so far. Right now, it's interesting to see where the league is, and some of the teams that you did not expect to be at the top have found their way in early January.
So it makes it fun. Those preseason predictions aren't worth much. John Camden is into the game for Virginia Tech, as is Elijah Poteet. Out of bounds, it'll stay the same way, and it looks like Grant Basile, who checked out early, played just 2 minutes. Coming back in, he had an early foul. Replacing Poteet, who I think played 18 seconds there, something like that. Justin Mutt's going to work. Kicks it out for Basile.
You notice basically NC State is limiting Virginia Tech to one and done. Virginia Tech focusing on getting back in transition because they know the Wolfpack, they want to get out and they want that pace.
Big difference from the three-point line. Hokies have missed all their shots from deep. Wolfpack now 4 for 8 after that miss from Greg Gant. Not sure if that's the shot Kevin Keats wants in the offense.
Well, obviously, and I think that's one of the things that if you're Virginia Tech, you'll give Gant that shot.
Basile on the block this time. To the corner, Camden for 3. Rebound for Gant.
One of the things you're seeing is that Virginia Tech not able to get those wide open threes. Most of those threes are contested. NC State doing a good job. As you see Joiner dancing. Solid defense by Darius Matters.
Terquavion Smith maybe wants to dance with John Camden. Be careful what you wish for. Offensive rebound resets the shot clock. Joiner. Nice move. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's a good move because you saw that last time Joiner's one of those guys that a little bit put Maddox on a skateboard, getting to a spot and getting that jump shot right in the mid-range.
Are you a skateboarder? Because I'm scared of being on a skateboard.
I put guys on skates, but like I said, I'm not one that's frequently with a skateboarding thing.
Basile getting to the free throw line. There's Coach Mike Young, leader of the reigning ACC champs. And look, there's certainly some symmetry between what happened at the start of last year's ACC season and what this year has been. Hokies hoping to change the narrative tonight.
But if I thought it interesting when we talked with Coach Young early, you know, he didn't have a sense of panic. He said that, you know, they lost 3, and he thought that a lot of it was them not taking care of the ball, sometimes trying to do a little too much on offense, and that they needed to get back to the basics. And you've seen it. You know, Sean Pedulla's come out trying to set up his teammates and get them rolling. They have to be able to get some stops on one end, and they've got to be able to get to their second and third options on offense.
Well, something to note with 9:58 to go in the first half. Jarkel Joiner to the bench with 2 fouls. 3 on pass in the game for the first time. And Lynn Kidd is coming back for Virginia Tech. Kidd, 8 points, 3 rebounds in 5 minutes in his first stint.
And here's the thing for Virginia Tech. When you got Joiner on the bench, now your focus is on one shot maker as far as Smith, and you don't have to worry about 2. And again, a lot of attention can be played to Terquavion Smith. And now if you're NC State, take your time and make sure your spacing is right.
Terquavion's getting where he wants to go. Somehow that didn't go in, and it got wedged for a split second. And it's a jump ball. The arrow belongs to the Hokies. How did that not go in?
It wasn't a friendly butt, but you love the fact that he's going to always give himself a chance. With him being able to shoot the 3 and dance with the ball, he can get into the lane.
Currently, we're on the pace for the high 70s, low 80s from NC State's perspective. Mike Young said we got to keep this game in the 60s to have a chance. Kidd into double figures already.
And we've talked about Lynn Kidd and him being available around the rim, but Sean Pedulla sticking to the script, choosing to get his teammates involved. Talk about the fact that he hasn't really scratched yet, but I love the fact he's taking his time and trying to break down the defense and create for everyone else.
Kidd 1 shy of his career high already. Pretty good defense that time on Burns. Smith trying to contain Pedulla. Kick out Basile, deflected. Great defense by Gant on the closeout. Burns slipping the screen. Certainly got a size mismatch, and he takes advantage.
And here's one of the things about Burns is that he first is going to look to be a passer. We talked in the absence of Mahorcic, has stepped up 13, almost 14 points a game, shooting 64. And he's that option that they can throw the ball to in the post and go get a bucket.
Looking back towards Smith, knew it was coming. Casey Morsell almost banked it in. Rebound deflected off Virginia Tech. Wolfpack ball.
And we talked about Burns and Wash. Again, being able to do a little up and under. He's really crafty down there. Get Kidd up and under. And again, if you're going to allow him to go single coverage, he's going to punish your big men. That's where it shows he's able to give them 14 points a game.
Yeah, he's leading he's number 2 on the team in scoring in ACC play. The leader is that guy. Terquavion Smith now has 8 points in the half.
I mean, when you look at this guy, he's a 3-level type of scorer. Can shoot the 3, can get to the basket. His mid-range game is always on point. Very hard to guard. You got to stay on your toes when guarding him.
How would you try to contain him?
I would get into him. I would get into him and try to deny him the ball because, again, away from the bucket, he shows that he's got a smorgasbord amount of scoring ability.
Shot clock winding down. Basile can't connect.
How many times have you seen Virginia Tech be forced in shooting shots at the end of the shot clock because NC State is doing a good job of guarding those first and second options?
I'll answer your question with a question. How often do you see the Hokies miss their first 7 threes? Burns, another bucket, and timeout taken by Mike Young.
And again, Burns is that guy that's come off the bench and say, if you feed me, I want to eat, baby, again. Give me the rock. You know what? A little mouse in the house action. DJ Burnsick extends that lead. Great lift on his shot. And he's a bucket getter because, again, we'll put you on the skateboard, Evan Leffler, being able to get the friendly roll. Both of these two guys have come out in this first half and have been super aggressive. Already 15 of the Wolfpack, 26 points.
Okay, is he putting them on ice skates or is he putting them on a skateboard?
A skateboard is less stable because, again, the skateboard, you're not going to be able to recover as quickly.
Okay, I wouldn't know. Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joiner have combined for 15. That matches what Virginia Tech has done as a team. Joiner is on the bench with 2 fouls. Imagine if the Wolfpack can maintain their lead. We'll see Joiner get a rest and see him in the second half. Oh, quick hands, nearly a steal. Pass on Pedulla. The Oklahoma sophomore will get to the free throw line.
And what you've seen is Sean Pedulla be able to take his time and get into the teeth of that defense. NC State has done a good job, though, of being able to corral and get hands on it, and they're active. For Virginia Tech, you got to find some way to kind of get some of these guys going. Basile has not been able to get going, and we haven't seen Justin Mutz be able to establish himself early either.
They're not going to give Pedulla free throws here, ruling it a foul on the floor. And the Edmond, Oklahoma native disagrees.
You see this penetration right here. You see Pedulla go in. And it seemed like they were telling him the foul was on the floor.
Yeah. Seeing the replay, I see what they're saying. See if the Hokies can get Darius Maddox going. Defended really well by Morsell on the perimeter.
And what you're noticing is that when the guards from Virginia Tech, as you see Terquavion Smith go down.
Good news for NC State as he popped back up. Numbers, though, for the Hokies. Mutz to the open. Maddox. 3.
Great recognition by Mutz, realizing that he could have gone and tried to power that in. He had a wide open Darius Maddox, wide open. Again, maybe this will get them going. What looked like it could have been a runaway by NC State. See Virginia Tech cutting that lead down to 8.
First 3 of the night for the Hokies. Rion pass, steps into a long-range shot. Rebound for Basile. Hokies right now are 7 of 9 from 2. 1 of 8 from 3. This is after they had their worst 2-point shooting percentage of the Mike Young era against Clemson here on Wednesday. Pedulla comes up short, may have been deflected. Smith all the way, no, when he was fouled.
We talk about the struggles for Virginia Tech and shooting the 3-ball. A lot of it is they're not getting any clean looks. And again, that last make, you see transition. Justin Mutz comes down, realizes he's got Darius Maddox wide open. And that's the type of shot that you want if you're Virginia Tech. And then that other end, and you see the Smith, and you see Smith going to the basket. Basile, he seemed like he caught him across the head.
And number 2 on Grant Basile. Nice free throw for Smith. One thing that was kind of hidden in the box score from NC State's victory over Duke, Terquavion Smith, yeah, he had 24 points in 33 minutes. He drew 8 fouls from Duke. He was fouled 8 times. It was his second game in a row that he drew that many fouls.
But here's the thing, we always highlight his shot-making ability. He's one of the guys that's one of the top 5 in assists. And when you're playing him, you have to play him for not only the drive to score, but the drive to be able to set his teammates up. And he's done a good job of being able to get and draw that contact.
Done everything well except shoot free throws. He missed them both, and Morsell is called for the foul. Trying to body with Mutz.
And if you're Morsell, you stay solid. Wolfpack have done a good job on weak side. And all you got to do is this side. You've got Duana sitting right behind you that if Mutz gets by, it's got the other line of defense behind you.
NC State, for the most part, has carried over its defensive intensity from Wednesday to tonight. Gant called for the foul.
Impressive how Wolfpack have defended Justin Mutz. What you realize is that you see a lot of their guards fighting over these screens. You see bigs on the help side. And a lot of times you say, you know, you want to be aggressive. NC State has come out and they're making sure that they put a hand on all the bigs. They limit them getting to the positions they want to.
Pedulla in the lane. and scores.
And you see right now, Pedulla decided to pick up his offensive attack that last time, being able to get into the lane, create a little separation by getting his shoulder into it. Interesting to see with this next 5 minutes left to go if he picks up his shot attempts.
Yeah, think about Mutz. Not that he hasn't scored, it's that he hasn't taken a shot. Kidd has half of the Hokies' points. Gant right back to Smith. Terquavion with a clock winding down. Foot on the line. No, they call it a 3.
You know a guy who's going to make sure he gets his shot? That guy right there. He went from one side to the other. And again, talking about hunting shots, realizing that, hey, I can get my shot. He does that by getting the separation. Great elevation.
They're going to review it. Initially called a 3. I thought he had a foot on the line. Kidd versus Joiner. Kidd's got a career-high 12 points in the half.
But I like the fact that they gave him a chance to go one-on-one with that length, being able to turn over that right shoulder. Again, Virginia Tech has found something, getting the ball inside.
Kidd has scored more points tonight than he scored in his first 2 seasons of college basketball. Each year he had single digits. Gant, not typically thought of as an offensive threat. Neither is Joiner for that matter, but that's a nifty finish.
You know, bigs are going to always look out for each other, one big to the other. He was like, hey, man, no, look out for me, and I got you on the backside.
Things are going the Wolfpack's way if that hook shot's going down. Maddox dishes into the lane. Kidd can't connect, his first miss of the night.
Great recovery by Joiner, being able to get back to Kidd to challenge that shot.
Smith is just so herky-jerky, so quick. Pedulla caught for a block.
We've got a good one going here, Ev. You know, right now, NC State Wolfpack are up by 10. One of the guys responsible about that is that man looked like he was on the 3, but knocked it down.
It could be up by 9 in a minute.
Let's go.
It is indeed a 9-point game with 3:12 remaining in this first half. Pretty clear toe on the line, but Terquavion Smith still having a fine first half for NC State here in Blacksburg.
I mean, he's already got 12 points, and then 3 steals to go with that as well.
11 points now, Brian.
Oh, you know what? You're right. 11.
Well, without Lynn Kidd, where would this Hokie team be?
Well, I think one of the things we talked about, Sean Pedulla opting to try to get them involved. But the guy that they got to get going is Justin Mutz.
Yeah.
I mean, the bigs from North Carolina State have done a good job of being able to defend him and not let him get to the spots and get to positions that he wants to.
Smith fouled.
That was on Virginia Tech 34.
Wolfpack not in the bonus.
That's his first.
We saw Virginia Tech work on that pick and roll, and they're trying to really flush Smith out and maybe double him. Poteet was a little late, and what happens is that guy like Smith, he's going to drag you out so far where he's occupying 2 guys.
The Hokies spent a lot of time in practice yesterday working on defending these ball screens to stay out with Smith's unlimited range. Gant tips the rebound for Morsell, comes up short. Rebound finds Pedulla.
Morsell was wide open, probably too open.
Pedulla again has played every minute just about for Virginia Tech over the past couple weeks. Rebound popping around. Loose ball controlled by Morsell. 4-on-4 at this end right now. Poteet and Joiner catching up. Meanwhile, Morsell comes up short. I beg your pardon, Thomas from the corner. Hokies hanging around. Wolfpack have led by as many as 11.
And look at how many Wolfpack guys are in that lane when Justin Mutz is trying to go. They're literally sitting there. 3 guys waiting on him to try to help. That's why he's not able to get going. You see Morsell come up with that steal.
Fouls on Maddox, to the dismay of Hokie Nation.
His first 16 foul and a half against
Virginia Tech's not going to establish Justin Mutz by throwing the ball in the post. They're going to have to get him on some type of cross screen, put him in the pick and roll, and allow him to roll, because every time he gets the ball in the post, you see NC State normally have 3 guys waiting to come over and help.
Terquavion Smith began the night as the 2nd leading scorer in the ACC. With everyone else having already played, if Smith gets 25 tonight, he'll be the leading scorer when the new stats come out tomorrow.
I think we can count on that.
Burns couldn't connect. Rebound tipped out. Fresh clock for NC State. Smith. May I have this dance? Oh, my.
And he looked over at Kevin Keith, and Kevin Keith basically told him, go get him. And he was like, you know what? Say less.
Pedulla hangs in the air, unable to finish the acrobatic hanger. Final minute of the half. Burns versus Poteet. Offensive foul. Number 1 on DJ.
And again, you see, Kevin Keith earlier told Smith, hey, you know what, go get a bucket. He was like, you know what, give me a chance to get down there a little up and under. That's what you call a finish. And then you talk a little big on big action. You see Poteet taking it right there between the numbers. That's 2 big dudes going at it, Ev.
Oh, inbounds pass off Maddox's hand, right back to the pack.
And again, this is one of the things, again, that for North Carolina State, they want to turn you over, the points off of turnovers, being able to put you in a situation where you're uncomfortable.
6th turnover of the half for the Hokies. 3 of them have been charged to Mutz. Morsell, blocking foul, count the bucket. Casey Morsell extending the NC State lead.
An amazing drive by Morsell, too. So much attention on Smith. You see him on the rip. Justin Mutz is late. Didn't have his feet set. And again, you see Mutz right there. Didn't have enough time to get set. I know the Hokie faithful didn't agree with that one, but I'm going to tell you, that's an and 1.
The transfer from UVA helped Tony Bennett get a bunch of wins. Congratulations to Coach Bennett, becoming the all-time wins leader in Virginia basketball history, surpassing Terry Holland with the win over Syracuse this afternoon. Morsell extends the lead to 14, largest of the half for the Wolfpack. Morsell playing his 100th college basketball game of his career here tonight. My, has he come a long way since matriculating from Charlottesville to Raleigh. Pedulla just can't finish at the rim. Be the final possession of the half if the Wolfpack want it that way. What a half for NC State on the road here in Blacksburg.
You see Kevin Keith yelling at the guys to back away and allow Smith to cook.
Over Camden, comes up short, rebound Maddox, and it's halftime. Wolfpack trying to make it 5 wins in their last 6 games. They're 11-1 when leading at the half this year. And this is a team that's growing in confidence right now.
Impressive first half.
Never trailed in the first half. This is the largest lead, and they begin the second half of the basketball.
I always look at the first 5 minutes of the second half of both teams for NC State. Pretty much keep doing what you're doing. You were able to ride it out with Jarkel Joiner on the bench. And for Virginia Tech, you got to find a way to stop those guards and find a way to get some offense rolling.
Joiner on the bench with 2 fouls for the final 10 minutes or so of that half. Comes up with an air ball to begin the second half. .9 turnovers per game, but in the last 5, Brian, they're averaging about 12 turnovers per game after it was about 8.5 for the first 10 games.
That's one of the things that Mike Young was telling us, is that they have to do a better job of. I just think that they've got to find a way to be able to establish their big guys. You see 3 shot and the foul again on Justin Mutz from the 3.
That's on the Wolfpack 23. That's his second personal. First team foul of the half against the Wolfpack.
Mike Young stressing in practice yesterday that with the turnovers, the Hokies were complicating winning right now. You got to make it simpler. Take care of the ball.
Well, and I think that sometimes you may have guys trying to do a little too much. You see Mutz knocked out in the first one. But back to a guy like Justin Mutz, if you're struggling, you want to be able to see the ball go into the rim. You want to be able to get a couple of ones to go to kind of get you into a little offensive rhythm. You see him knocking down the second one as well.
Foul on Gant shooting the 3. These are Mutz's first points of the night. Is it true that making free throws can make you feel more confident, getting you into a rhythm?
Absolutely, especially when you're not getting the touches. It's not like he's had a poor shooting first half. He hasn't had a chance to get any open looks. And you see that last time, maybe coming out trying to be a little bit more aggressive and looking for his offense.
He was 0 for 1 from the floor. No free throw attempts in the first half. Back to an 11-point game. Oh, great hands by Mutz. Throws it ahead to Basile. Oh, blocked from behind by Morsell.
How about the recovery by Morsell being able to take that move, that open dunk from Basile?
Second foul of the half on NC State.
NC State's 23, Greg Gant.
Second of the half on Gant. That's his third of the game.
You see great defense by Justin Mutz coming up. And then how about you see Grant Basile up? Great vision to get it up. And the recovery by Morsell to be able to not give that easy basket away.
And there's the third foul of the half called on the entry pass. This one's on Joiner, and that's his third.
And watch that block. It was a clean block by Morsell. Basile thought he had an easy one.
It's 3 fouls. 75 seconds for NC State to begin the second half. Basile in the lane for 2.
Nice option for Basile. Realized that he had one-on-one coverage. They weren't sending a double. Being able to put Dewana right there. And again, Virginia Tech's opened up the beginning. Ultra aggressive on both ends of the floor.
Quick 5-0 spurt from the Hokies. Smith unable to silence the crowd, but Morsell gets the rebound. And he turns it over. Justin Mutz kicks it. Basile sees a little daylight. It's closed immediately. Mutz on the step back.
Nice run by Virginia Tech again. You can see that the bigs have taken more of a conscious effort of trying to attack the paint. Kevin Keats wants to close this run down a little bit.
Timeout, NC State.
At Hardee's, no matter what you choose, it's the right choice. Because our new
Bally Sports South, the network of your favorite teams.
Have I told you that the first 5 minutes is always critical, and you see that Virginia Tech is coming out the gate being aggressive, trying to put it down, and it may not be beautiful. But here's what I'm going to tell you. 7-0 run is a 7-0 run. You do what you got to do to try to get back in this game. And you can tell right now Virginia Tech has come out early in this second half with a lot more energy than they closed the first half with.
We'll see if they get Justin Mutz an oop for that young man's birthday. And Virginia Tech has won the hustle plays to start this second half. Just over 2 minutes gone. 7 straight for Tech. Morsell on the drive, gets it to go.
Nice move by Morsell, realizing that, hey, I'm going to set you up because you got to honor the fact that I'm a three-point shooter. Got down here with his right hand, was able to finish around the rim.
Morsell into double figures for the 11th time in 17 games this year. 5 of his last 6. Virginia Tech getting Justin Mutz more involved. Great hands, though, by Greg Gant. Morsell in transition, bucket.
And you saw Morsell ran right to that three-point line. If you're Sean Pedulla, you got to understand who you're playing against. You got to get out and challenge that.
They may not be wearing Virginia colors anymore, but the Commonwealth clash still means something to Casey Morsell. 13 points back in Blacksburg. Basile too strong. And Smith all over the board. How about this answer? Quick 5-0 run just from Morsell. Stretch it back to double digits. Morsell going back to work. Oh, swatted by Maddox. Maddox, after the great defense, going to work on the other end. And it's stuck back in by Mutz.
And that's where Justin Mutz has stayed active, Ev, because, again, he's been the guy that's been on the recipient of the defense collapsing on the penetration, hanging around the rim.
Seven points, 5 rebounds now in the game for Mutz. Crowd chanting air ball at Jarkel Joiner. That will not dissuade him. He's a confident shooter. And you can tell he's got a certain bounce to his game, and he wasn't worried about the crowd yelling or anything. He's going to be able to get to his shot and knock down that three. A veteran of 131 college basketball games, including today. Vasily passed up the three. Lost it. Recovered. Hits the diving Collins.
Love the fact that Grant Vasily was able to stay calm. Realized the active hands were around him. Got the ball over to Collins.
4 points for MJ Collins, who made his first career start tonight. Back to Joiner. Lost the dribble. Now Smith's turn. Deep three. Oh, Joiner wasn't blocked out, but he missed the putback. Hokies dodged a couple of bullets right there.
They have. They've done a better job. You see yet another turnover.
Yes, indeed. Second of the half. Ahead Morsell challenging Mutz.
You see, we've got a back and forth game right now. Both teams are trying to find some kind of momentum. Last time you see Grant Vasily scrambling, and you say MG Mutz. Collins said, help me out. Still got a 10-point game.
Sports South, presented by your local Ford dealer.
ACC basketball is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. By CPI Security. CPI Home Security that protects what matters most. And by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Man, that looks delicious. A little pulled pork, chips. Say, I've had a few days in Blacksburg, did the women's game, a good win for Kenny Brooks and the Hokies here on Thursday night. Had some good meals here in Blacksburg these past few days.
Yeah, that looked really tasty, man. Only thing I had was popcorn for lunch.
Well, they make some of the best popcorn in the ACC here at Castle Coliseum. Mike Young approved. All right, Casey Morsell has been a difference maker today, not only at the offensive end, but remember the block he had in transition?
Well, and here's the thing is that when you look at this Wolfpack team, a lot of the attention on the perimeter goes to Smith and Joiner, but Casey Morsell, again, a guy that can knock down the three and is one of the better perimeter defenders. And you've seen right now in the second half, he has stepped up and filled that void for them.
Shooters bounce. Morsell's now the Wolfpack's leading scorer tonight with 15. Tech opened this second half on a 7-0 spurt. Cut it from 14 to 7, but NC State surging back ahead by double digits. Pedulla inching closer with a lefty runner.
Nice move by Pedulla, being able to probe the defense. Again, interesting to see if he decides to try to pick up his offense a little bit. Spent most of the first half as a facilitator.
He's 5th in the league in scoring. You figure he'll go for it eventually. Got 6 points so far. Burns lost it. NC State turns it over for the 7th time. Encourage you to stick around for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. It is coming up at some point here in the second half. Hokies trailing by 10.
I thought on that 7-0 run to open the second half, Virginia Tech did a better job of being able to have their bigs attack the rim. Interested to see if they go back to that.
Foul. It's on Smith. It's his first. Just thinking about the turning point to last year's season for Virginia Tech, and it really was that win in Tallahassee when Sean Pedulla had his breakout game. And look, when you've lost 3 in a row, you're looking to change the momentum. What needs to happen to turn the tide here for the Hokies?
Well, I think a lot of it is North Carolina State and how they've come out and been really aggressive and limited them to doing what they want to do. You see a great pass by Pedulla over the Mutts. But back to the point is that the teams that they have lost to, Mike Young talked about, is that they've gotten away from being patient. This is one of the better teams at taking care of the ball. And normally they shoot the ball really well from three-point land. They have not had that success, and they've had a really good scoring team in NC State today.
Mike Young was several feet onto the floor, barking at his team. Basile, tough drive. Free throws coming. Fouls on Joiner, his first.
And you saw that last move by Basile. I like the fact of swinging the ball. You got to shift the ball, the defense left and right, to be able to put the ball on the floor and be aggressive at the rim.
Basile at the line. He's now 2 for 3 from the stripe. And we pause for this quick message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
1 for 2 for Basile, who had a huge game against NC State last year. Wright State, remember, came to PNC, and Basile had 23 and 16 in a win for the Horizon League squad.
That last possession, nice curl action for Terquavion Smith. You had him come from one side and curl to the basket.
Number 2 on Maddox. Smith back to the line. One thing about Smith's game, he's become a much better playmaker for his teammates. He and Joiner already 16 games into the season have more assists this year than either of them had last year.
And here's what happens when you have guys like Smith that go through the pro process. You get evaluated, and one of the things they wanted to see, they love his scoring ability, but wanted to see if he can be more of a playmaker, and that's what you're seeing. A guy that's one of the tops in steals and one of the tops in the league in assists, showing an all-around package.
Foul on Morsell, I believe. As someone who watches a lot of NBA, you cover the Hawks full time. What do you think of Terquavion Smith as a pro prospect?
I think when you look at it, he's a shot maker. He can go and get his own shot. He can shoot the 3, obviously. He's super quick, and he's active. He's a guy that can defend on the ball and a very good playmaker. So I think that he will translate into a very good pro.
Pedulla dishes. Basile has not been his night from deep. He's 0 for 5.
But here's the thing, Ev. Even though Basile did not like that, I love the cut, the action, the backdoor play. And again, being able to get wide open shots is going to be critical for Virginia Tech.
Ibi Duana got away with an offensive foul, battling for position inside with Basile. Keep an eye on that matchup, though. 10 to shoot. Over to Smith. Gant the screen. Smith, the drive, blocked by Basile. Tipped out of bounds by Gant. Hokies basketball.
And you've realized that Virginia Tech has done a better job in how they're guarding Joiner and Smith. They're extending off of those pick and rolls and trying to force them into the middle and have help. They have not been able to get off and torture them like they have in the first half. But now Virginia Tech's got to do a better job of being able to find some points.
Sean Pedulla's averaging 39.7 minutes per game in this Hokies 3-game stretch, in which they've lost 3 close ones. Pedulla's played every minute again tonight. Sets up Mutts for 3. Rebounded by Joiner. Hokies 1 for 12 from beyond the arc, Brian.
And here's the thing, is that they were forced to get contested shots, but they're getting some wide open looks right now, you see.
Morsell dropped it. Pedulla draws contact on Morsell. That'll be the 3rd on Casey. Hokies hanging around, trying to claw their way back in front of a sellout crowd at Castle.
Monday at 7/6 Central.
Let's protect the paint. Brought to you by CPI Security.
And it's been the points off of turnovers for North Carolina State. Already 14 points off of those turns. It's been able to fuel them getting out in transition. Talk about they want to create havoc, and this is what they do. They turn you over, able to capitalize on it. They have active hands. When they get that, they're out and running. What they'll do is they won't settle. Early offense has allowed them to be able to get this lead and hold on to this lead. And again, 14 points off of those turns.
Yeah, the difference in the game is NC State capitalizing off the hokey miscues. Look at the forced turnovers are even. Points off turnovers is literally the difference in the game.
Absolutely. And again, you saw Virginia Tech come out at the beginning of the second half. Seemed like they had that 7-0 run, but since then, North Carolina State has been able to recover, and a lot of that has been Casey Morsell stepping up, being able to buy them some more time.
Well, you look at NC State's resume right now. They're 2-3 in the league. Got the big win over Duke on Wednesday night. And the early December losses at home to Pittsburgh, at Miami, they blew a big lead. Pitt, Miami, two of the top teams in the league right now. And the only team better than Pitt, Miami is the team that NC State lost to on the road, the Clemson Tigers. So all three of their conference losses are the top three teams in the league.
And here's what I look at. We talked about the fact that out of their last 6, they're 5-1. When you look at a team like that that's got two dynamic scorers in Smith and Joiner, they're a team that's going to turn you over. They're first in the league as far as turnovers, and how they beat Duke, that shows that that's a team that's going to be very dangerous as long as they can stay healthy.
Forced 22 Duke turnovers on Wednesday, led to 31 points, and DJ Burns, the big fella, scores inside.
And oh yeah, they've got a big guy that they can throw the ball in. You see, nice look out over the kid by Justin Mutz.
First bucket for Kidd here in the second half. He's got a career-high 14 points on the night. 7 of 8 from the floor. Usually don't start a post-up from the three-point line, but usually not DJ Burns.
And here's the thing. If you're Lynn Kidd, you do not want to allow Burns to be able to get over to his left. And you see his last time pass, great read by Justin Mutz. Lynn Kidd finishes at the rim. And that's the offense that they want to get to, but they have not been able to get it as frequently as they want.
Kidd just picked up his second foul. It's the third team foul on Virginia Tech. NC State's already at 17 fouls in the half. Burns does it again.
But here's the thing, is that Kidd is allowing Burns to get to that left hand, and he's taking his time and basically bullying him down, getting right over his right shoulder.
Every time it's felt like Virginia Tech has made a play or two to close the gap, someone else steps up for NC State. We saw Morsell get back-to-back buckets. Now it's Burns. Pedulla finds some space.
Nice separation by Pedulla. That last time he got Gant to be able to come a little off center. And again, once you see that North Carolina State, it seemed like they're going to get some separation. Virginia Tech finds a way to keep it close.
Pedulla keeps his streak going. He's been in double digits scoring-wise every game this season. Smith gives it to Joiner. Over Pedulla. Rebound for Mutz. Again, it feels like the momentum pendulum is swinging the Hokies' way. Maddox fakes it, takes it, missed it. Smith navigating through traffic all the way, no. Rebound tipped out for Joiner. Smith gets it back. Has 2 shots that trip.
I'm not sure if I like that shot by Smith. He can get that anytime.
He's 5 for 17 tonight, Brian. 2 of 9 from 3. 3 of 8 from 2. Pedulla. Oh, and a whistle negates the Kidd slam. Virginia Tech's like, nah, we're fine not taking that foul.
But again, you see the penetration. Pedulla does a good job of being able to come off of Mutz, and then you see Burns a little late, reaches in right there. But then you see again.
Pedulla back to the line.
Second in for the Wolfpack, 14, Casey Morsell. Second in for the Hokies, number 2, N.J. Collins. And 34, Elijah 13.
Hokies as close as they have been here in the second half.
They've done a better job in how they're defending Joiner and Smith right now. If you're NC State, run your sets, keep the spacing. You've proven that you can break down the guards on Virginia Tech anytime you want.
Stolen by Pedulla. Numbers for the Hokies. Pedulla, no. Justin Mutz. Castle's rocking. Burns buries it.
Talking about a silencer. Great recognition by North Carolina State to get the ball inside the DJ Burns and let the big fella work. And again, wondering if you're Virginia Tech, do you send somebody because he's been able to score the last 3 touches he's had in the post.
And I can't wait to see that replay of that Justin Mutz foul. What a finish. Pedulla gets it right back from Poteet. Hits the Poteet roller. Burns fouled him. We'll call it our Coyote Tractor turning point, Ryan Oliver. Check this out.
And you watch the steal by Sean Pedulla and decides to go then. Watch Justin Mutz pulls that out of his pocket, Evan Leffler. And again, watch him come back, not give up on the play. Then was like, yeah, that was me. In case you know, let me hear it.
My. The best dunks I've seen this year.
Yeah, that was amazing.
3 on Burns. Having a chat with veteran official Bert Smith.
And we saw in the first half, North Carolina State doing a job on Virginia Tech and turning them over and capitalizing. And this last little run, Virginia Tech doing a better job of stifling North Carolina State and being able to turn into something positive on the other end.
1 for 2 for Poteet. Got ourselves a 5-point game with 8 and change to play.
Absolutely. North Carolina State's got to do a better job at being able to read how Virginia Tech is playing that pick and roll.
Foul on Poteet. Bumping Smith about 30 feet from the bucket.
And if you're Poteet, you have to be able to step out to stop him. You don't want to have Joiner or Smith drag you out. You cannot make that type of contact. You want to be able to step out to hesitate and buy that guard enough time to recover.
Smith doubled over to Gant. Back outside Joiner. Makes a move on Pedulla. Fade away. Joiner
That's a big bucket. And how about the play by Joiner? Realizes that he can get to the lane once that separation, gathers himself. This guy has amazing lift on that jump shot. What a way to be able to silence that momentum that Virginia Tech has.
Yeah, Jarkel, the 4th member of the Wolfpack in double figures. Mutz tried to shovel it over to Basili. It's going to be Wolfpack ball. Justin Mutz bringing the crowd back into it here in Blacksburg. Pedulla could not connect in transition, but Justin Mutz, acrobatic finish here at Castle. It's time for tonight. 1 to play. Wolfpack trying to win here at Castle Coliseum for the 2nd consecutive year. Brian, a year ago, each team won on the other's home floor. The Hokies won down in Raleigh.
Yeah, and you can tell this has been a game that's been back and forth. For the most part, it's been all NC State, but then as of late, Virginia Tech doing a better job of how they're defending and finding better ways to be able to get to the cup. They still have not shot the ball well from behind the arc. North Carolina State doing a good job of limiting them to only 2 for 13.
Yeah. You said to Mike Young, you're 2 for 13 from 3. You're only down 7. 7:41 left. He'd probably say, oh, okay, rather be 5 of 14, but you know, we're within striking distance.
And Sean Pedulla's picked up his offensive attack then. As you see right now, Virginia Tech doing a better job of being able to switch that matchup with Burns, putting Skyhook there.
Would have been nice if it went. It didn't. And the foul is on NC State. Two guys battling who began their college basketball careers in the Big South Conference.
And that may be 4 on Burns.
Yes, it is.
You see both guys going after it. You see
Kind of bulldozed him over.
looked like a takedown by Burns.
The wrestling mats have not been rolled out tonight here at Castle.
Checking out the Wolfpack, 21.
Nuts, 1 year at High Point University in the Big South. Transferred to Delaware, sat out a season. Had a great redshirt sophomore season, then came to Virginia Tech, and man, what a revelation he's been, winning the Skip Prosser Award last year. Combination of academics, scholarship, and athletic ability. He's the whole package.
And you saw him just miss both of those. Interesting with Burns out now. That takes away the low post presence for NC State. Look for Smith and Joiner to pick up the offense.
Joiner to the bucket, tipped out of bounds. Pokey ball.
Get Duana back in the game, and he's more of a rebounding and defensive presence.
Light full court pressure. Hokies worked a lot on the press break yesterday in practice. The assistant saying they're going to do this 20 possessions. We can't turn it over one time in that pressure. Pedulla gets it to go.
And here's the thing about Pedulla that I like. Again, we talked about the fact that in the first half wanted to be more of a facilitator. That last time he made a conscious effort to put his head down, put his shoulder into Smith, and went right to the basket.
All of a sudden, Pedulla's got 15. Gant will take it. Way short. Way short. Hard screen from Mutz. Pedulla attacks Duana. Gant makes up for his bad three with a rebound. Dangerous pass worked out. Closing in on 6 minutes to play. NC State's got a week off after today. They take the floor at home against the Miami Hurricanes next Saturday. Clock winding down. Joiner for three. Rebound battle. Vasily falling over, gets it to Maddox. Maddox waiting for some friends. He was 1-on-4. Who will the Hokies go to? Down by 5. Maddox looking to create. Steps past Joiner.
Good defense by Joiner. He was able to keep Maddox right in front of him. You see Mike Young over there cheering his guys on.
Margins in this league this year at times can be so small.
Foul called on Virginia Tech's 25, Justin Mutz.
Fouls on Mutz. That's his third.
15 foul against the Hokies.
Already today in the ACC, there were 2 games decided by 1. Duke over BC, Clemson over Pitt. Hokies trying to overcome a 14-point halftime deficit. Joiner, 2.
That's a big bucket by Jarkel Joiner. Realized he had Justin Mutz on him, took his time and wanted to lull him to sleep. If anything, get Mutz, you got to understand that's a guy that's going to go for a buck. You got to challenge and make him shoot overextended hand.
Mutz dishes. Maddox.
Nice time and nice patience by Justin Mutz. Realize on the post-up, that's one of the best ways to be able to feed the man. And you see great back cut by Darius Maddox.
He was waiting for Mutz to attack off the dribble, but he's a great passer. His 3rd assist tonight. Jarkel Joiner again lost his dribble, gets it back from Gant. 8 to shoot. Joiner missed it. Offensive rebound, Duana.
If you're Pedulla, you got to put a body on Duana. That's what he's out there for. Gives the Wolfpack another opportunity.
Some of those little things tonight have been lacking. And Smith gets the foul from Maddox. Number 3 on Darius Maddox.
Partner, we've got a game on our hands. And you see both teams going to make it. See Justin Mutz with a nice dime over to Maddox. Got a 5-point game. Come on back.
It's bow time. That's not a phone in your pocket.
Time now for the Continental Tire recap. Virginia Tech has never led in this game, and yet they're hanging around within 5. 3:52 to go. Love the support here in Blacksburg. 3-game losing streak. Students not all back for the semester, but this place is rocking.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking for NC State, the guy in the second half that's picked it up for them, Casey Morsell. And at one point before he went out, inside presence had been DJ Burns, but now him on the bench with his 4th foul. Terquavion Smith, relatively quiet in the second half. I thought that Virginia Tech was doing a better job in how they're defending him on the pick and roll.
Yep, he had 13 at halftime, only 4 since then. Back to a 7-point game.
The guy from Virginia Tech that obviously has picked up his offense is Sean Pedulla.
Mutz puts his head down, finds Kidd. MJ Collins on the drive, gets it to go.
Nice runner. MJ Collins doing a good job of realizing that spacing wasn't the best. Best thing to do is put your head down, or I call it a silent giant killer off that runner, being able to finish it.
Solid performance for Collins in his first career start. 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Joiner. And he changes speeds well. Tough to guard.
Again, watch this penetration by MJ Collins. Again, realizing, turn the corner, and you see Duana come over, and you see both he and Smith going at it. And again, being able to get it, and look how high the elevation on that. Oh, net.
Beautiful touch. Justin Mutz did just pick up his 4th foul, Brian.
And here's the thing, anytime you switch with him and Joiner, normally you can switch Justin Mutz on most guards, but Joiner is showing you his stop and start ability to go one direction to another. That's hard for most guards, let alone one of the bigs that's really good at handling guards on the switch.
Just saw a little fist bump from Joiner after he made the front end of the 1-and-1. This is the back end. 2-possession game. 3 minutes to play. Pedulla to the corner. Collins, the freshman. Over to Maddox. 5 to shoot. Someone has to fire. Back to Maddox. Decent look. Rebound Morsell.
Good defensive possession by North Carolina State. See, Virginia Tech went east to west and wasn't able to even touch the paint on that possession.
Hokies 2 for 14 from deep. 10 to shoot. Let Joiner attack initially. Now it's Smith hanging in the air. Gets his own miss. Right back up. He was blocked, but a foul called on Maddox.
Great second jump by Terquavion Smith. Went on the penetration, and you watch him again. Being able to get off the ground and watch the second jump quick before anybody else. You see Maddox coming up with that foul.
Can you explain how that second jump ability is not natural, what he just did?
Well, here's the thing. You know, we talk about how great a scorer he is, but he's a very good athlete. He's got bounce. Again, you've seen some of his highlights.
Timeout, Virginia Tech.
Timeout in between the free throws taken by Mike Young. Hokies right now shooting the season low percentage-wise from 3. A little bit worse than they were against Penn State. They still were able to beat the Nittany Lions, though. 2:10 to go. One more free throw coming for NC State. And here's a look around the ACC. Some milestone wins, both for Leonard Hamilton, his 400th win as the coach of the Noles, 600th in his career. And Virginia gets the win over Syracuse, and Tony Bennett becomes the all-time winningest head coach for men's basketball in Charlottesville, passing Terry Holland.
Yeah, we talked about with this Clemson team, obviously, you know, the darlings of the league right now, undefeated, that Pitt team right behind and in Miami. But a lot of teams right there jockeying position right at 3 and 2. That's why it's really important for this game for both teams. For Virginia Tech to protect home, but for North Carolina State to be able to get a quality win against this team would be huge for them.
And a team the Wolfpack smashed on Wednesday, Duke, finally gets a road win, narrowly escaping from Chestnut Hill with a victory. Smith goes 1 for 2.
We approach the 2-minute mark, and this game is still within reach. Virginia Tech, you got to find a way to come up with a basket. You don't need a 3.
You're right, they just need a bucket. Pedulla over Duana. That was great defense by Ibi Duana.
And great recovery by Duana, because a lot of times you'll see Virginia Tech would put Pedulla on the post.
Reach and foul on Pedulla. It'll be 1-and-1 for Joiner. Number 2 on Sean.
You see maybe a little frustration by Sean Pedulla. That's reaching for the ball right there. But let me tell you, one of the things I think since DJ Burns is gone, Duana has done a solid job of giving them that defense that they need.
Joiner, another fist pump after it made front end of a 1-and-1. Joiner and Smith combined average about 34 a game. That free throw gives them a combined 34 tonight. Hokies really need a basket here. Pedulla had it poked away. Joiner the steal. Joiner, no. Gant keeps it alive, throws it back out, and Morsell wins the foot race. And gets away with an elbow.
Huge recovery by Gant.
Man, I mean, from the start of this game, NC State has brought the intensity, much like we saw at PNC on Wednesday. It's been one of the differences in the game. Smith!
Bucket by Smith. And North Carolina State has shown they've been the scrappier team.
Maddox creates contact. Number 4 on Gant.
And you talk about the hustle, you see the pickpocket by Joiner. Then how about Gant not giving up on the play, bring him to keep that play alive and give him that other possession there. You see, Morsell would look like he may have gotten away with an elbow, but then you got your best playmaker in the game, and you take your time and allow him to be able to go and get a bucket.
Another 20-point game for Terquavion Smith, his 3rd in a row. And NC State on the verge of handing Virginia Tech the Hokies' 4th consecutive loss. And the Hokies have their next 3 on the road.
You see DJ Burns come in, and how about the valuable minutes that Duana gave the Wolfpack. Burns on the bench with his 4th foul. So now for Virginia Tech, you're going to have to extend your defense.
Steal for Pedulla. Maddox, finally.
Big bucket.
Makes it a 6-point game with 55.5 seconds left.
And the key to it is to be able to defend without fouling. And you see Virginia Tech extending. You see John Pedulla comes over, gets that ball over to Darius Maddox, knocks down that timely 3 to extend this game. Kevin keeps Ox to call a timeout, but you see, again, being able to turn quick turnover, get that point right now to stretch this and cut this lead down to 6.
Speaking of the road ahead for Virginia Tech, I mean, they Go to Syracuse, face a team led by a coach with over 1,000 wins. Then a week after that, they go to Charlottesville and face Tony Bennett's Cavaliers. And then it'll be interesting to see if Clemson's still in first place when Virginia Tech goes there on the 21st. But that's a Tigers team that just came to Blacksburg and won here on Wednesday. So it's not getting any easier for the Hokies.
But here's the thing, it's good for the league as you see that schedule again. You know, earlier in the season, Virginia, Duke, and North Carolina, and then you throw Miami with the teams that were getting a lot of national acclaim. But you see the teams like Syracuse and Clemson that have stepped up, throw in the mix that, again, Pitt team. And it's really good for the league when you have teams that on the road and at home making it challenging every night.
NC State basketball. Next foul will be the 10th for Virginia Tech, so it'll be 2 shots rather than 1 and 1 for the Wolfpack.
If you're Virginia Tech, you want to be able to defend without fouling. You want to force them into those corners and have active hands. NC State, get it into your playmakers' hands.
Oh, Smith turned it over immediately. Collins kicks it. Maddox. Got it!
Oh, my.
Timeout, Wolfpack. Back-to-back threes from Maddox have transformed this one in just a matter of seconds.
Evan Lemler, we talked about the fact that you want to be able to extend this game, and Virginia Tech has found a way to be able to come out and create a little havoc. You see that one fan right there was like, I'm not built for this. And you see great trap in the corner. You see good hands. MG Collins realizing not to panic. You got Darius Maddox wide open. Knocks down another 3. And again, great trap. Being able to turn it over, not turn it over, and then finding the wide open guy. Knocked down 3. Partner, we got a game on our hands.
And look, they don't need a foul.
Not at all, because you look at shot clock is 28, and then for North Carolina State, you got to do a better job of being able to get the ball, and you got to stay away from those corners, because by doing that, you're setting yourself up for that trap, especially with a guy with like Justin Mutz there.
Assistant coach Kevin Giltner providing some words of wisdom. It's a good staff. Mike Jones in his second year as the top assistant after a long successful career at DeMatha. And I'm excited to see Rodney Rice when he finally gets a chance to play. Rodney Rice played for Coach Jones at DeMatha. He was Terquavion Smith on the Hokies scout team at shoot-around today and in practice yesterday. And he was tearing up the Hokies first unit a bunch.
And we talked to Mike Young. He is ecstatic to be able to have him. We talk about a guy that's got bounce and can go get you a bucket. Got great vision also.
All right, 45.8. Remember, the Wolfpack inbound to the ball. They still need to get it across half court.
And here's the thing. If I'm Kevin Keats, then you obviously want to get the ball to Joiner or you want to get it to Smith. Once you get it across half court, you run some time. And I would throw the ball inside to DJ Burns and allow the big fella to go work, but you got to get this ball in bounds first.
Burns back in there playing with 4 fouls. 8-0 run in the last 18 seconds, and another turnover. And they give it right back. Vasily threw it away. They still don't need to foul. And Vasily with a touch foul. Joiner will shoot 2. What a crazy sequence.
And missed opportunity for Virginia Tech. They were able to force North Carolina State into a turnover. And watch this play right there. You see Grant Vasily comes up, off balance, throws it right over Pedulla's head.
Wow.
Now it's going to come down to making free throws.
Joiner 3 of 4 at the line tonight. He's got 2. 2-possession game. John Camden's checking back in for rebounding purposes, placing Collins. Each team with 1 timeout left.
Joiner makes this, he extends the game to 5, and if you're Virginia Tech, you want a quick score. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 3. You want a quick bucket if you can get it.
Full court pressure to try to slow down that quick bucket. Pedulla. Oh, nobody stopped him.
Nice.
There's the quick bucket. 2-second difference, game and shot clock. Gant, fouled by Basili. Gant has not attempted a free throw all season.
And it seems like if there's a guy to foul, he's the guy. And again, I told you, you don't want a three. You see Sean Pedulla realizing he can get to the bucket, and that's a quick basket allow you to be able to stretch this game out. No one right there at the rim.
69% from the line in his career at Providence. That's his first free throw attempt as a member of the Wolfpack.
You're going to think that I'm crazy if he misses this next one. Again, I'm going to go ahead and try to get me a quick two and cut this game down and maybe play the fouling game right now. You don't necessarily have to go to three. You haven't shot the three well all afternoon.
Gets the roll in the second. It's a two-possession game. 28 seconds left. Walks it up the floor. Pedulla had it poked away. Joiner has it. What a huge turnover. Wolfpack are one big step closer to a huge road win.
And here's the thing on that possession, North Carolina State did a good job of being able to have multiple guys. Watch the penetration by Pedulla. He turns around, Burns is there. You got three guys. Looks like Smith can't get their hand on that ball. And you see the frustration from Sean Pedulla. Again, still a lot of time left in this game, though. Crucial free throws by Joiner.
We saw an 8-0 run in 18 seconds. So we got 23 seconds left. Anything can happen. Wolfpack is a team that have been good from the line. 16 of 20. 17 for 21. 6-point game. Pedulla for Maddox for three. Yes!
Why not? Why not, Evan Lepler?
Timeout, Virginia Tech. Final timeout for the Hokies with 15.4 remaining.
See that last play. Sean Pedulla bringing the ball up, realizing that I can't get my three, and where's my buddy? You see Maddox is like, you know what, baby, I'm sitting here waiting. I got you. Knock down another three.
So Mike Young will not be able to take another timeout. NC State has one left. It's Wolfpack ball. See if the Wolfpack can get it in without turning it over and find a free throw shooter. Tonight's Hardy star to watch, by the way. Casey Morsell, 15 points back here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He made some big shots early in the second half to help the Wolfpack.
And I thought that when in the second half he came out and he's one of those guys, gave you that third option as far as the score, being able to penetrate, put the ball on the floor. And here, again, big night for him being able to get down and get to the cup. He was that guy, again, when they needed some offense, gave it to him inside, outside, especially in the second half.
He's one of four Wolfpack in double figures. Gant is going to throw the inbounds. He can run the baseline, gets it to Joiner. Pedulla picks up his fourth.
Great recognition by Kevin Keys to realize that Joiner's been that guy in a nice rhythm from the free throw line. You get him the ball and basically tell everyone to get out of the way. Still got 11 seconds left. These are very important free throws.
Jarkel Joiner, 7 of 8 from the line tonight. He's got 20 points, and he's still got 20 points. This next one is massive. Four-point game. Hokies need a hurry. Pedulla fouled by Morsell.
It's the last thing you want to do if you're Morsell is foul, but obviously you don't want to give Pedulla a wide open layup.
Now this is a two-shot foul. Hokies in the double bonus. Pedulla just took a look at the clock. 7.7 remaining. I wonder if he makes the first, would they consider missing the second intentionally? First things first, though. Yep. What do you think?
I think you make it and you force NC State to take the ball out. You try to get a trap off the first possession. If not, you foul. they've proven on multiple times that they can have some trouble, especially if you can force them to get into the corners.
Pedulla can't give the foul because he's got 4. I was wondering who Camden was going to replace. Vasily goes to the bench. Now you got to give the foul immediately here, but if you're Pedulla, if you can help it, you don't want to foul. Dangerous pass, trapped in the corner, but they had to give the foul. Under 10 seconds to go. Terquavion just could hold that ball there for 6 seconds with a bear hug, and the game would be over.
Yeah. You watch this next play, you see Smith come to the ball. Virginia Tech did a good job of being able to trap him.
Foul on Camden. Smith needs them both.
Checking back into the Hokies, 21.
No timeouts for Virginia Tech. If Smith misses it, the Hokies will have a chance. Terquavion Smith has been the answer tonight. He hadn't shot the ball great, but he's got 22 points, and that free throw might have been the dagger. Pedulla fires, misses, and NC State wins at Castle for the 2nd year in a row. 73-69. Another hard-fought, excruciating loss for the Hokies.
Yeah, huge night for both the backcourt for NC State. Virginia Tech fought back, but came up short in the end.
Heck of a game. Hokies battled, but never led.